My Love Is Your Love is the fourth studio album by American singer Whitney Houston, released worldwide on November 17, 1998. The album, her first studio album in 8 years since I'm Your Baby Tonight, was composed of mid-tempo R&B, hip-hop, ballads, urban dance, reggae, and torch songs, produced by different musicians such as Rodney Jerkins, Soulshock Karlin, Missy Elliott, Wyclef Jean, David Foster, and Babyface. Although the album only peaked at number 13 her lowest position at the point on the Billboard 200, and it sold less than Houston's previous albums in the US, it was a hit globally, with successful world tour in support of the album. In particular, it was a hit in Europe, topping the charts in Austria, the Netherlands, and Switzerland. It also reached the top 5 in other European countries like Belgium, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Norway, and the United Kingdom. The album generated 5 hit singles, including 3 top 5 US Hot 100 hits, Heartbreak Hotel, It's Not Right, But It's Okay, and the title track, My Love Is Your Love, became Houston's third best-selling single ever. Recording Industry Association of America and the International Federation of the Phonographic Industry certified for platinum for shipping of 4 million copies of the album in 1999 and 2002, respectively. My Love Is Your Love is notable for introducing elements of urban hip-hop into Houston's work, only sparingly used in her previous material. Worldwide it has sold over 13 million copies. With its commercial success, My Love Is Your Love received rave reviews from many critics, often regarded as one of her best works. At the 42nd Grammy Awards of 2000, the album got 7 nominations including Best R&B Album and 2 Best R&B Songs, and won one of which, Houston's 6th Grammy Award, Best Female R&B Vocal Performance for It's Not Right But It's Okay. Commercial performance. In the United States, My Love Is Your Love was released on November 17, 1998 when major records were released simultaneously for the holidays by high-profile musicians like Garth Brooks, Mariah Carey, Jewel, Method Man, The Offspring and Seal besides her. Time magazine wrote, music industry folks have dubbed it Super Tuesday because more than 10 major pop acts issued new CDs on the single day, making it the heaviest release date ever. The album entered the US Billboard 200 chart at number 13, which was the peak position of the album and her lowest chart position at that point in time, with sales of 123,000 copies in its first week. That result was disappointing because the release was Houston's first non-soundtrack album in 8 years and was highly anticipated. But eventually, the album became a commercial success, thanks to a series of hit singles, her energetic promotions and a successful tour. My Love Is Your Love was present on the Billboard 200 chart for 75 weeks and on Billboard Top R&B Hip Hop Albums chart for 79 weeks, peaking at number 7. The Recording Industry Association of America certified the album for platinum on November 1, 1999, for shipments of 4 million copies. According to the Nielsen SoundScan, the album has sold 2,753,000 copies. Across Europe, it was more successful than in United States. In early times of his release, the commercial response for the album was short of expectations. But its sales rose sharply during the European leg of the My Love Is Your Love World Tour, which was the highest-grossing arena concert tour of 1999 in the continent, and consequently My Love Is Your Love became the second best-selling album of 1999 in Europe behind Cher's Believe, spending more than 1 year on the charts in many countries. In the United Kingdom, it reached number 4 on the album's chart and was certified 3 platinum for shipments of 900,000 copies of the album by the British Phonographic Industry, BPI. In France, the album peaked at number 2 on the album's chart, was certified to platinum by the Syndicate National de la Permildition Phonographique, selling 700,000 copies. In Germany, it climbed to the number 2 on the album's chart on its 35th week and has sold more than 670,000 copies. The album reached number 1 on the album's charts in Austria, Switzerland and Netherlands, and the top 5 in Belgium, Denmark, Norway and Finland. My Love Is Your Love was certified for platinum by the International Federation of the Phonographic Industry for shipments of 4 million copies of the album in Europe. Worldwide, the album has sold over 13 million copies. Critical response: upon the album's debut, the album received rave responses from music critics. Rob Sheffield of Rolling Stone magazine commented that it's easily her most consistent album ever. In fact, it's her first consistent album, and praised her mature voice as follows. The former ingenue has some grown-up scars now, singing the marital blues with a bite in her voice that she's never come close to before. Did you think she'd crumble? Did you think she'd lay down and die? Then check out My Love, Pal, and hear Houston prove beyond a doubt that she will survive. John Parolles, in his review for the New York Times, praised her fully developed voice too. He stated that her sound was supple and devout, comparing Carey's fidgeting sound with every phrase in When You Believe, and commented Miss Houston used to be similarly showy and disjointed, but now her improvisations bring emotional coherence to technical feats. With expressing his interest about any connections between her troubled marriage and her new materials, commented lest anyone draw other conclusions from the songs, the album carries a disclaimer. Also, he was almost positive about her new songs with changed styles such as It's Not Right But It's Okay, Heartbreak Hotel, and My Love Is Your Love, but was critical of more old-fashioned ballads, commenting sound stodgy and bombastic. In Billboard magazine's review, the issue dated November 28, 1999, the magazine called the album a tour de force that showcases her strengths in a wide array of musical genres from pop to R&B to gospel to dance. The publication also opined, on an album with writing and production input from a diverse roster of players, Houston keeps it all together with her spectacular voice and singular artistic persona, declaring the album had immense crossover potential. Mark Bartz of Entertainment Weekly gave the album B+, calling My Love Is Your Love a schizophrenic album, and A primer on today's hip-hop R&B scene, the good, the bad. By reason of the unevenness of the album, he commented Wyclef Jean's gorgeous reggae-tinged title song and 3 funky cuts by Rodney Jerkins showcased the 35-year-old Whitney Houston in all her creative, soulful maturity. In contrast, a trio of schmaltzy Babyface-produced tunes expose her as merely a gifted interpreter of bland radio-ready fare. Similarly, Time praised some new songs, calling the title song superb, and Houston's remake of Stevie Wonder's classic Fabulous, but criticized the old-fashioned songs of the album sharply, commenting the problem is with the old guard, producer David Foster's work is dull, and Diane Warren and Babyface, who both wrote tracks, have better work on their respective resumes. Writing for USA Today in November 1998, Steve Jones made a favorable comment on almost every song, whether it is a ballad with her formula for success or a new styled song produced by hot, young producers who've updated and diversified her sound, stating there's something here for just about everybody, whether you favor R&B, pop or adult contemporary radio. But he chose the remake I Was Made to Love Him as the best track of the album, complimenting the song highly, the rollicking, gender-flipping remake. Stephen Thomas Eliwine from AllMusic, who gave the album 4 out of 5 stars, called it easily ranks among her best, and complimented the musical diversity. Houston has never been quite so subtle before, nor has she ever shown this desire to branch out musically. But he also wasn't positive for adult contemporary ballads of the album, stating in fact, the songs that feel the stiffest are the big production numbers. Tellingly, they're the songs that are the most reminiscent of old-school Houston. Los Angeles Times gave it 3 out of 4 stars, writing, it reflects her growth as an artist and as an individual. Track listing equals promotional concerts equals Houston performed 2 sold-out concerts a few days before the album's release, on November 13 and 14 at Taj Mahal in Atlantic City. Both concerts showcased new songs from the album as well as hit songs from previous releases. Several media critics as well as a host of celebrities attended, including Luther Vandross, Brandy, and Wyclef Jean. On November 18, Houston performed an expensive invitation-only concert at Cipriani's Wall Street. Audience attendees included Clive Davis, Kevin Costner, P. Diddy as well as Donald Trump, Babyface, Mary J. Blige and Wealthy Business Socialites. Setlist. Dates. TV promotions. Singles. All 5 singles released from My Love Is Your Love were great success worldwide. In the United States, they were all top 40 Billboard Hot 100 hits, with 3 reaching the top 5 on the chart, selling a total of 3.9 million copies. The album generated 2 platinum and 2 gold singles, awarded by the Recording Industry Association of America in 1999. In the United Kingdom, Houston also had 5 top 40 singles including 3 top 5 hits from the album, with a total of 1.09 million copies sold, becoming the 8th best-selling singles artist of 1999. The singles also achieved success in other countries such as Canada, Germany, Sweden and Switzerland. When You Believe, duet with Mariah Carey, was released as the lead single of the album on November 2, 1998. The song debuted at number 51 without retail single on the new Billboard Hot 100 chart, which had changed to allow airplay-only tracks to enter the chart, the issue date of December 5, 1998. Before release, it led to expectations that the song would be a smash hit due to the star power of 2 music rivals. However, after the single had released, it managed to peak at number 15 on the chart, the issue dated January 30, 1999. It reached number 33 on the Billboard Hot R&B Singles and Tracks chart. Billboard was unfavorable towards the single, commenting given the potential of these 2, Houston and Carey powerhouse voices, however, the song falls flat with a surprisingly understated and downright disappointing bridge, You Wait and Wait for the Duel of the Divas, and it simply never materializes, but positive of Houston's performance. The genuine story in this track is the return of Houston, who sounds fantastic, as clear and confident as ever. The RIAA certified it gold for shipments of 500,000 copies on March 24, 1999. Unlike in the United States, the single was a success on the world charts. It reached the top 5 in the UK. With 260,000 copies sold, Belgium, France, Italy, Netherlands, Norway, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, and the top 10 in Austria, Denmark, Finland, Germany, Ireland, and New Zealand. Thanks to popularity for the song across Europe, it eventually peaked at number 2 on the Eurochart Hot 100. The album's second single, Heartbreak Hotel, which features Faith Evans and Kelly Price, entered the Billboard Hot 100 chart at number 84, the issue date of December 15, 1998. In its first week when the song was commercially available, it leapt to number 29, and after 6 weeks peaked at number 2 on the Hot 100, making it the first Houston single to peak in the runner-up spot. The song entered the revamped Billboard Hot R&B Singles and Tracks chart at number 23 with the mark of its 7th week on the chart, the issue date of January 9, 1999. In its first week of retail release, it reached the number 6 and the following week topped the chart, becoming her 8th number 1 single on the Hot R&B chart. The single stayed on the summit for 7 consecutive weeks from February 13 to March 27, 1999, which was her 3rd longest stay atop this chart behind I Will Always Love You for 11 weeks and Exhale for 8 weeks, and was on the chart for a total of 31 weeks. The single sold over 1,400,000 copies in the US alone, becoming the 3rd best-selling single of 1999, and was certified platinum by the RIAA on March 2, 1999. It's Not Right, But It's Okay was released as the 3rd single from the album on January 25, 1999. Before May, it was featured as the B-side of Marxie's singles with Heartbreak Hotel, and charted on the Hot 100 and Hot R&B with its only airplay and sales of Marxie's singles. The song appeared firstly at number 64 on the Hot R&B Singles and Tracks chart, the issue date of January 9, 1999. It rose higher position of the chart steadily, and eventually reached its peak position, number 7, in its 24th week on the chart. On the Hot 100 chart, the single debuted at number 87, the issue date of May 8, 1999, and after the regular length cassette and CD configurations had hit stores, peaked at number 4, selling 522,000 copies in the United States. the RIAA certified it gold on June 29, 1999. It was also successful in the United Kingdom. The single reached the number 3 on the singles chart, making it her 12th top 10 hits, and sold over 510,000 units, ranked at number 25 in the list of UK's best-selling singles in 1999. In Canada, it made rare chart performances, peaking at number 3 for the regular single and number 5 for its import single simultaneously on the Canadian SoundScan's singles chart in August 1999. After her European promotion during February in 1999, it was popular in many countries of Europe, reaching the number 1 in Spain, top 20 in Austria, Germany, Italy, Netherlands, Switzerland, and Sweden. Finally it peaked at number 9 on the Eurochart Hot 100. The title track, My Love Is Your Love, was the 4th single from the album. It was a massive hit worldwide, becoming another signature song for Whitney. Firstly, the single was released in each country of Europe from June 1999, prior to the United States. Upon release, the song was popular immediately across Europe, and became a bigger hit during her My Love Is Your Love European tour. In the UK, it went straight to its peak position, number 2, on the singles chart, the issue date of July 3, 1999. The single sold 525,000 copies, becoming the 22nd best-selling single of 1999. In Germany, it peaked at number 2 and was certified platinum for shipments of 500,000 copies by the Bundesverband Musikindustrie. It also reached the number 2 in countries such as Austria, Ireland, the Netherlands, Sweden, and Switzerland. It went to top 10 in Belgium, Denmark, France, and Norway. Eventually the single topped the Eurochart Hot 100 for a week, becoming her 4th number 1 single, and was positioned at number 6 in the Europe's top singles list of 1999. In New Zealand, it peaked at number 1 for a week, which was Houston's 3rd number 1 single after 1987's I Wanna Dance with Somebody, and 1992's I Will Always Love You. Likewise, it was a hit in the United States. The song debuted at number 81 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart in September 1999 and peaked at number 4 in January 2000, becoming her 22nd top 10 hit. In addition, it reached the number 2 position on the Hot R&B Singles and Tracks chart, spending a total of 29 weeks on the chart. The single sold 1,100,000 copies and was certified platinum by the RIAA on December 14, 1999. Worldwide it sold over 3 million copies and became her 3rd best-selling single ever, behind I Will Always Love You, and I Wanna Dance with Somebody, with 12 million and 4.2 million copies sold, respectively. I Learned from the Best became the 5th and final single to be released from the album on February 22, 2000. The song debuted at number 83 on the Hot 100 and peaked at number 27. It reached the number 13 on the Hot R&B Singles and Tracks. According to the Nielsen SoundScan, the single sold 352,000 units in the United States alone. Outside the US, it wasn't successful as big as the previous singles from the album. The single reached the number 6 in Finland, the number 8 in Spain, and the number 19 in the United Kingdom with 95,000 copies sold. Besides, it went to the top 40 in the Netherlands, Sweden, and Switzerland. Billboard Hot Dance Music Chart the songs with various remix versions, released from My Love Is Your Love, were very popular in dance clubs and smash hits on the Billboard Dance Music Chart. 4 consecutive singles reached a number 1 on the Billboard Hot Dance Music Club Play Carter It's Not Right But It's Okay for 3 weeks, Heartbreak Hotel for a week, My Love Is Your Love for 2 weeks, and I Learned from the Best for 3 weeks. Moreover, the maxi singles, released as vinyl, cassette and CD formats, were successful on the Billboard Dance Music Maxi Singles Sales Chart. My Love Is Your Love topped the chart for 2 weeks, and I Learned from the Best for 1 week. Heartbreak Hotel It's Not Right But It's Okay, and It's Not Right But It's Okay I Will Always Love You peaked at number 2 on the chart, respectively. Charts. Singles chart positions. Note: in New Zealand, Heartbreak Hotel was released as a double-A side single with It's Not Right But It's Okay in April 1999. Certifications and sales. Accolades. Academy Awards American Latino Media Arts Awards American Music Awards During Houston's career, she was nominated a total of 7 times for Favorite Pop Rock Female Artist, and Favorite Soul R&B Female Artist category, which of them won 4 and 3 respectively. Also, My Love Is Your Love was her 4th nomination for Favorite Soul R&B Album category. Bambi Verleihung Houston was honored with Pop International Award for her 20 years outstanding career as a musical artist. Billboard Music Awards Blockbuster Entertainment Awards BMI Pop Awards All winners are determined by the number of feature broadcast performances on American radio and TV during the eligibility year. Brit Awards Golden Globe Awards Grammy Awards Houston won her first Best Female R&B Vocal Performance Award through her career. She had been nominated 6 times for this category but not won. This was her 6th and final Grammy Award. MOBO Awards MTV Europe Music Awards MTV Video Music Awards Houston was nominated for Best R&B Video for Heartbreak Hotel music video directed by Kevin Bray, which was her first nomination in 13 years at VMAs since she has won the Best Female Video for How Will I Know at the 1986 MTV Video Music Awards. NAACP Image Awards NRJ Music Awards Recording Industry Association of America Awards Certification Awards. Artists of the Century Awards. Soul Train Lady of Soul Awards. Soul Train Music Awards, Houston was honored the Artist of the Decade, Female Award in recognition of extraordinary artistic contributions during the 1990s. Billboard Magazine Year-End Charts. Personnel. Production, Executive Producers, Whitney Houston, Clive Davis, Producers, Babyface, Kelvin Bradshaw, Jerry Duplessis, Missy Elliott, David Foster, Lauryn Hill, Wyclef Jean, Rodney Jerkins, Karlin, Soulshock, Lloyd Turner, Engineers, Paul Boughton, Tim Boyle, Dana John Chappell, Commissioner Gordon, Felipe Elquita, Paul J. Falcon, Humberto Gattaca, Brad Gilderman, Jean-Marie Havat, Reddy Jackson, Manny Marokin, Don Murray, Kevin Parker, Rick St. Hilaire, John Smeltz, Kendall Stubbs, Tommy Vicari, Assistant Engineers, Chuck Bailey, Louis Castillo, Ray Cervenka, Greg Denon, Mark Hishelman, Jonas G., Brian Garton, Jason Grossott, Victor McCoy, Sue McLean, Susette McLean, Wiz Nepstk, John Nelson, Wiz Nepstk, Jamie Siegel, John Sorensen, Tom Sweeney, Pascal Volberg, Michael White, Mixing, Tom Bender, Commissioner Gordon, Ellick, Paul Falcon, John Guss, Brad Gilderman, Mick Wazowski, Jean-Marie Havat, Manny Marokin, Rick Street Hilaire, Soulshock, Mixing Assistant, Ellick, Mastering, Tony Dorsey, Editing, Harvey Mason, Junior Instrumentation, Kelvin Bradshaw, Karlin, Soulshock, Lloyd Turner, Pro Tools, Harvey Mason, Junior Drum Programming, Babyface, Kelvin Bradshaw, Che Guevara, Rodney Jerkins, Synthesizer Programming, Felipe Elquita, Production Coordination, Robin Crawford, Miriam Gonzalez, Jennifer McGee, Maria Padula, Suzanne Savage, Ivy Scoff, Session Coordinator, Suzette Williams, Contractor, Debbie Datz-Pyle, Sandy DeCrescent, Arrangers, David Foster, Lauryn Hill, Karlin, Bill Mayers, Bill Ross. Soulshock, Hans Zimmer, Keyboard Arrangements, David Foster, Rodney Jerkins, Orchestral Arrangements, Bill K. Myers, Rhythm Arrangements, Lloyd Turner, Kelvin Bradshaw, Vocal Arrangement, Whitney Houston, Art Direction, Christopher Stern, Photography, Dana Lichtenberg, Makeup, Roxana Floy, Hair Stylist, Ellen LaVar, Stylist, Patty Wilson. References